So on the question on of how we changed the rhythm, the amount of competition we had in a society was not that intense as you have in your society. There was much nuclearization where people are living in faction, but they were not interacting with other factions because it was not familiar. A society was, if you say, much like you have your countries, but the factions which were living were far away, so not were easily accessible. So to say, one faction was not aware of other faction. The shift which happened in a society happened early on. You see, we were not that advanced civilization as you have in terms of technology. If you have to see us, it will be a civilization count was also small because we were one faction was unknown of another faction. There was much fear not knowing what those beings are. Because of that, if you say, they was taking care of their own family, if you have to say, and not bothered by anybody else. There was much point at which disease struck our faction. Beings were dying. We were not aware what was going on. There was confusion for how to take care of the beings, how to prevent this. For that, beings from our faction went on to a search to find some answer, some solution to these diseases. When they come to the periphery of another faction, because the urge to find solution was so big, because the love we have within our faction as a family, the urge to find the solution was so big that it was decided it is worth it to interact with another faction, to communicate in a way, to find answers if they know something of the disease. The language in our community, in our faction, was, if you say, sign language, and also telepathy, in a way where we are one singular organism, and by the way we are standing, by the way we are seeing each other, and by the energetic framework, we could talk to each other. So when one of a being from faction 1 went into the periphery of faction 2, that being did not knew what will happen, but the longing to find the solution provoked them to enter into the territory of Faction 2. What was seen was being in Faction 2 were also infected by those diseases. They were also dying. The way the being from Faction was how they were holding themselves, how they were standing. The longing to find the solution was on their face. What you call doctors, we won't say even doctors, what you call shamans, and what you call herbologists were beings experiment with herbs which are native to the planet and experiment and find what is deficient in your body and what is needed and which herb provides that need for the nutrition in your body. There was those herbologists in Faction 2. They've already started working on a solution of the disease. It was progressing slowly. There were some beings which were responding to the herbs, but there was still some deficiency which was not known. And the herbologists were also trying to find solutions and experiments with herbs. The way Faction 2 beings talked was combination of toning and also combination of how they were as a being. A bit of telepathy, but not as advanced as Faction 1. Herbologists in Faction 2, when they saw the Faction 1, through the sign language, through how they represented their body, they were able to conclude that Faction 1 being was also looking for the same solution as they were looking. When Faction 1 being saw that they were mixing herbs, then he himself has brought in herbs from the area of Faction 1 because that was a puzzle. They did not knew how to use that, because they were also looking for solution. They were picking things which looked different, so somebody can give them the answer for if that can be used to find the solution. When the Faction 1 being shared that herbs with the Faction 2 herbologist, there was one herb which was found near the mountains of Faction 1 and it grows near the waterfalls. It was green, lush green in color, and it has a distinct smell which was aroma therapy, if you say, in your world. When the small quantity of that herb was used, that completed the solution. And the beings who were sick in faction 2 responded to the herbs. That was a very celebratory moment in faction 2, and it was seen that unity, that collaboration, that connection from beings from other faction can solve solutions rather than being separate, or rather than being isolated in our own world. Then the team was assembled from faction 2 to prepare the herbs which were native to faction 2, and also to take as many resources which were available in faction 2 and walk with the being of faction 1 to offer the native herbs from faction 2 as a gift and as a big thank you for helping faction 2 in need. There was this gratitude and openness and sense of seeing the value in collaboration, seeing the value of the whole planet, not just for one area, but how the whole planet supports. The journey was taken. It took days. If you have to count Earth days, it took 14 days to walk from faction 2 to faction 1. The climate on this planet is mild. It's not that extreme cold or hot. The terrain is mountains, waterfall. We don't have deserts on our planet. We have lush green vegetation, different animals. Much of our animals are herbivores. They are carnivores. But their food is particular, so they are not a threat to us beings. When the walk was done till faction 1, there was much loss of life which has already happened. There was so much grief and sadness and heartbreak from all the lost lives. When the herbs reached faction 1, it was given to beings who were suffering. It took some time because their immune system was not that strong. It took some time. That was a little awakening of sort that we can't do it by ourselves or by own. Kids, mothers, strong men. This decision was taken to move the population from faction 1 to somewhere close to faction 2. So there are neighbors who can help the population in need. Much life was lost in faction 1, and we dig the grave of our brothers and sisters. There was much pain, much sorrow, much grief. But the realization of working together, that was eminent, that became so powerful awareness. Once the civilization took this journey of letting go of our home, of faction 1, there was much pain. But for the purpose of future generation, this decision, a very challenging decision, was made to move closer to faction 2. As there were herbologists in faction 2, they had advanced tools to build community, and they were seers in faction 2, which could see the stars, which could learn from the seasons, which could advise what crops will do well in a season. There was much knowledge in faction 2 of agriculture, of seeds, of plants, of weeds, and also much knowledge of anatomy of beings of our planet. It was seen that faction 2 beings were much stronger, much resilient. So to get that guidance and help from faction 2, it was decided to get that help. Whatever we had in terms of ration, food, it was taken. The kids went ahead with herbologists along with women's, and the men followed. Once the faction 2 reached near faction, once the faction 1 reached near faction 2, it was received with open arms. There was difference in physical strength of two different beings from faction 1 and faction 2. But beings were embraced, they were welcomed, they were recognized, and they were valued. Because faction 2 also got help from them in terms of getting the crucial ingredient which was needed to save the population of faction 2. Because of grief which both the factions went through, of losing their own family members, that was a bonding which took place, was understanding each other's grief. The civilization advanced with both being seen as equal, mutual respect, and value, and it was decided to explore other parts of our planet. For faction 2 would not have gotten help if the explorer from faction 1 came to that part and helped with the herb. It was decided to explore and open our arms to other beings on the planet for mutual learning and help. There was no concept of violence on our planet, and there was no concept of harm which we see on your planet, which is physically harming another being. The only thing which was prevalent in a society was fear from unknown, from people which we didn't knew of. Once this barrier was overcome, there was openness, much openness to explore and share. There were exploration of local, and if we see from your perspective, local boundaries, state boundaries, countries, continents, it was explored in that way. Beings will go and come back and share information from where they have explored. They will take what a civilization in this part of the world has achieved and go and share that knowledge with others. From that, there was much collaboration and sharing where beings who were living in other part of the world didn't knew anything about what we were doing in this part of the world, or if we were working on things which were more advanced, just for the love, just for the love, common love of life. of nurturing. There was this longing to share with others. This was also an appreciation and gratefulness for the help we got in Faction 2. From that gratefulness, our hearts opened and we explored. We learned much from other civilization and we shared this fear of unknown and fear of not knowing the other beings if they will. We didn't have a concept of hurt, but we didn't knew what would happen. Once we started exploring, reaching out, those barriers were also lifted. Our society, our civilization became very peaceful society, created out of mutual love, respect, and love for life. We didn't have anything which you called as prisons. If somebody will behave in a way which may be observed as anger, it was seen as a disease and it was handled with much care and love. For we saw that person is in pain. There was herbs been given to see what can help those beings. And those beings were listened to, spent time with, and also spend time with nature. By time, these deformities became lesser and lesser. We came through thousands of years to be a peaceful civilization and much humble and kind in demeanor. Our telepathic abilities on our planet has advanced to a point we need not to speak in language or even in toning. Toning is something which is enjoyed as an entertainment, as also a part of energetic clearing and connected to the cosmic energy. Because our energetic field expanded to a point, we came to be aware of other beings in the cosmos. Because a sheer love of life, we reached out and connected with other beings. We came to know of different civilization on different planets, and beings from the stars visited a civilization. It is different as we see on your planet, the fear which is seen in movies and televisions of beings who are coming from the stars. In our case, it was a peaceful collaboration, knowing of two different life forms, if you have to say. The physical structure of our civilization and other civilization was a bit different, not that much, but you can easily identify the differences and know the beings from the stars, or if we have to say a sister solar system, beings from that, they had physical configuration a bit different from us, but they were also peaceful civilization. Much learning and sharing was done. It was a time of huge excitement, of knowing that we are not alone. Through advancement in science and technology, and again, that information, the particulars of it will not go into details. We were able to connect with more civilizations and become part of a League of Nations which is local to our sisters' solar systems. There were 9 solar systems which created a union of federation where 9 solar system, the planets in the 9 solar systems started collaborating, learning, exploring, sharing information, creating universities which may be exciting, where one being from one solar system can go and attend university in another solar system. There's much excitement, love, collaboration, fun, as there was much to be learned from each other and to learn the wider galaxy and universe in general. We are learning, we are growing, we are a peaceful civilization. Seeing the challenges on your planet brings much sorrow to us. We can't give you the solutions, for they are yours to find. Only can say is the love for life. If you have love for life and love for your world to thrive, flourish, the only thing which can help is compassion, mutual collaboration, re-evaluating your choices, and slowing down. Your world is going in such a fast space. There is no pause. There is no pause to stop and see what you are doing at each level. We understand Earth is collaboration of so many civilizations. It is a melting pot of so many beings from so many worlds. The only thing which unites is love and compassion for life, for the life which is growing, and for the future of your world. Do you want to go on a path of destruction, or you want to detour to a path of serenity and life, supporting life on your planet? That cannot be done in separation, that cannot be done in division. It can easily be done with collaboration. If there is much fight and bickering and friction, there is no growth in that. Open up your hearts. If there is no control in the world, start with your own life. Where in your life can you nurture, nourish, collaborate? You see, it starts with you, and it's a domino effect. Once that energy of collaboration is created, it's contagious. It starts with you. It starts with one, which encompasses the whole. We send our compassion, our love for life, and a mutual respect energies to earth as a gift. Oop, plak, tek, tak, pak, tak, 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 chuk, stek, ta, pa, tak, to, kak, kapat, tak, chuk, to, at, kat, kit, kakupot, kat, ki, iplak, tak, tuku, sheka, tabakade, patakado, shibarkata, takado, shibarkata, patakada, I atakado, chibarkado, jejas, patakada, tikida, tu puja, patakada, patakada, juzo, patakada, tikida, juzo, palakada, tikida, patakada. I ako patakada, jo, sabrakada, jo, play, takado, shabarkada, jo, sabrakada, jo, sabrakada, sabrakada, ti, jo, patakada. I hoshu, isapata, I apalago, o shesada, pata, patucho, iskapakado, shesasa, palakada, to shesabrata, I aleshu, sabracadita, pata, shabrata, shabracada, I plak tak jujo, sabracada, patagri, so, patacada, shabracada, Ishkosama anamati tito chi sabracadete, I palacado, she sabracadita, dojo, sabracadita, I la patagojo, sabracada, tacadojo, sabracadita, sabracada, in apale, ato, apalacate, o apagita, aujo, apagita, dojo, by the getting Jesus sabracado. In api shusho, in apale shusho, ipa ali shusho, sabrati, show manacada, in It's an honor to be here with you and to share a civilization with you. We bid you good day. Thank you for listening and have a good day. Bye.